Alright, hey there, Prox Gaming Crew, and this is Proxify here. We're back once again for another solo Let's Play of Echoes of Wisdom. If you did miss out during the last one, well, we just went and arrived on over here to the Lanayru Temple, and now what we're going to be doing in this video is that we're going to be seeing what this whole area is going to be all about, and it looks like for what this gimmick is going to be featuring here is going to be with some sort of fan. Now, originally before in this post-recording, I thought that probably using one of our said type of wind enemies would probably at least maybe kind of get this fan somewhat started, or at least somewhat moving around, but that is not going to be the case around over here in the Lanayru Temple. For what we are going to have to go and do with this type of gimmick of this fan is that we're going to have to search for fire and or ice elements, and what these two type of elements can actually go and do is that if we ever do go and find a set type of ice element, it will actually create an ice effect around within the area, or if we ever do go and find a fire element, that will then go and actually melt most of the ice that would be there, and we can go and do some sort of swimming around and not really have to get ourselves injured by any of this type of icy water, kind of like back in the Mario games, if you guys remember, like from Mario Galaxy, because you don't ever want to go through the icy water, or else you will get yourself damaged around within here. But we went and just battled out with some oxygen rocks and got ourselves with a little side chest there, but anything too serious. I know that we will come across with some keys at some point. Well, we will need to make sure to go and find those. But here's the first of many of these type of said puzzles here that we are going to have to use the said type of element for this. So make sure that you kind of get your distance from when you actually do have to go and use try here to do all your moving around with certain things. So for this one, we are going to have to go and use our said ice blocks to at least somewhat get some distance here so that we can return back to our original position. And if you accidentally, let's say, return the item or kind of like somewhat drop the item in a way, it will go back to like its original position. Then you kind of have to rinse and repeat the whole entire process again, which that would be a little bit annoying. But for right now, it looks like we're already okay as it is. So now we're just going to go and move off into where the said ladder is now going to be happening. And it looks like for what's going to happen here, if I can recall, is that we're going to be doing a lot of different rock climbing. I know that that's kind of have been a thing so far throughout here in Echoes of Wisdom, is that we've been doing a lot of rock climbing so far, and I believe that's what's going to be happening again. Alright, so be careful around within this type of way. There is a said treasure chest that's up in that type of area. I don't know exactly how we're supposed to grab that, unless if there's some sort of type of new echo or something that we'll probably find later, but we'll see what happens. I know that from what I have been seeing during the time that I was playing throughout this game, looks like there is going to be a set type of clone link battle that will be showing up again, because if you guys don't know, whenever there's always like a clone link battle, and before you actually go and enter into the actual said room, it actually kind of has like that type of purplish type of like carpet. So could be a clone link battle, it could probably be like a mini boss battle. We'll have to see what happens throughout there. Okay, so now we got to go and put through all the different said boulders here. This is what is also going to be showing up as well too throughout this dungeon, is that you will be somewhat constantly using anything boulder related to make sure that all these type of ice geysers are not going to kind of cause any type of serious damage. And as you guys are going to probably see, is that you will be seeing myself get myself a little bit injured, but it doesn't cause like too much exact amount of damage, but just be very careful with it though. I know that with the other side that we will have to go and do later with the said key, I know that I do lose quite a bit of health on that, but I think I regain most of it back anyway, since we do have quite a bit of different health items here. Alright, so now this is where this puzzle can get a little bit tricky as well, but what we do need to do is actually switch between the two different elements. So one that we're going to have to go and do is, first of all, is putting a boulder right in front of this actual said ice part there. Now we're just going to go and take this fire element and actually then go and move it right into its original position. And then that should basically now go and melt everything that's going to be here. And there is a set key that's all the way down in that bottom left-hand corner. So we will definitely have to make sure to go and pick that up. And then we can go and use it on the right-hand side of that area once we go and actually then turn everything back to ice here, which we will be doing that in just a few seconds. So there we go. Our first key of this area is now finally upon us now. Okay, so let's go and figure out what we need to do here. So just make sure that we go and head all the way back. And this time, however, just like how we did it before, yep, this time around, we're just going to go and create this into its ice effect now. And now this whole area should be basically back in its original position that it was originally at. So there we go. Okay, so now it's time to do the next puzzle here, which we will have to figure out a way on how we're going to be able to climb ourselves all the way up to where that key position is going to be. And how I went and did this is that I went and set up a bed down below and then kind of set around with some boulders and a trampoline and I think at least one type of water block to make sure that I can kind of reach myself all the way up here. So if you guys want to follow along and actually know about how I went through that type of puzzle, there you guys have it right there. Alright, so now we can go and move on through. Looks like I think we got some more rock climbing to go and do. However, this time around, there is going to be some icicles that are going to be falling down. Now, we are going to have to use type of movable situation that we're going to have to do again. And however, for what we are going to do is actually use it for the said icicle that will be here. So that then we can kind of position ourselves without having to get ourselves injured by any of these type of ice geysers that are here. So there we go, just like that, made it right on through. Unfortunately, we can't really go and take this with us too much around with it here, so we are going to kind of have to injure ourselves a little bit. But not to worry. So it looks like we can kind of protect ourselves from that. And it looks like the icicles could do its job for a little bit here, but however, I think we're all said and done now. Alright, almost getting close to our next checkpoint. But we still have to go through another segment here. And this one, what we're going to have to use is any of our type of clouds that are going to be here. And just be careful. Just kind of let the geysers just kind of do its thing and then stop. But how I went and did this is that I went to use a lot of different water blocks here. And also use a cloud to at least somewhat kind of guide myself across to the next door. So just kind of wait for a little bit. And kind of rinse and repeat just like what we did. And there we go. And we already just made it right on over to the door. And this is where we are going to have to use our Ignigsoul guy. So we do have a fire type enemy with us. And now we can just go ahead right down below here and figure out where the next element is going to be. So this type element is going to be all the way at the very far bottom down here. And now there is a way where we can kind of somewhat sneak around through most of these type of said ice geysers without having to get ourselves injured by any of them. So we're going to basically show that off here right now. Okay, so just be careful of the ice enemy there, but all that we're going to be wanting to use is our little water block here. So we're going to set that up aside and figure out where the placing of this fire element is going to be. It's like right here. So there we go. Activate that. That will now go and turn it on. And this whole ice wall will now completely get melted away. And now the other half of this area will now be accessed to us. And we can now go and move onwards within the level here. So it seems like so far throughout this area is really not all that too bad. It's basically somewhat straightforward. I know that we've been through some other different dungeons where it has been a little bit tricky. But Lanayru Temple doesn't really seem half of that all that too bad. Alright, so here we go. So now we're going to go and actually place our Armos guy and actually kind of get him stuck around this type of side here. There we go. And then now for us, we just kind of have to go and put down another Armos statue just right around here and hopefully it will activate. There we go, just like that. Now we got ourselves with another set key. And I'm pretty certain, I think just maybe one more other type of said room, and then we are basically, like, literally right at the said checkpoint that we do need for whatever type of mini-boss battle that we got. Probably it could be Clone Link, or it could be some sort of other mini-boss that could be there, or it could be Cone Day's brother. We don't really know exactly yet. Alright, so let's just go and knock out with some of these different annoying enemies here. And that should then go and give us another type of treasure chest. Don't know if this is going to give us anything just like a side item, but no, it actually gives us the dungeon map, so very nice. Alright, so with that being said in mind, I think that is going to go and end that off for us here for today. So see you guys in the next one, and of course, peace.